One of the most important things we need to do when reading and summarizing research is to identify the variable type. This is important because it lets us know if we will be able to determine causation from it. If we can determine causation, the researcher is much stronger than otherwise. I'll be more willing to change what I think about the world if the researchers have shown me a direct causal link. So, how do we know if we can determine causation? The answer is surprisingly simple. If the researcher manipulated it and groups were randomly assigned. If there was something that the researcher did specifically before he measured the outcome variable, the researcher manipulated the variable. If the researchers used the subjects as their own controls, a within-subjects design, or if the researchers randomly assigned people to groups, that ensures that all differences that exist in the subjects are distributed between groups, making the groups equal. I'll use an example to show you how random assignment equals out differences in groups. Let's say you're doing research on a pill, the Taste-O-Matic, that claims to increase your sense of taste. One thing we know is that mood impacts sense of taste, with people in a good mood being more likely to taste better. If you had a group of people who were all in a good mood and a group of people who were all in a bad mood, your results will probably be messed up. So let's say the probability of being in a good mood is 0.7. If you choose two random people and assign them to equally sized groups, so those will be groups of 1, the probability that you will have one group with everyone in a good mood and one group with everyone in a bad mood is the probability of being in a good mood, 0.7, times the probability of being in a bad mood, 0.3. That's only a 21% chance of having the groups be systematically different. Let's say you have 4 people, and you're going to randomly assign them into equally sized groups. The probability of having a group with all happy people and a group with all unhappy people is the probability of being happy times the probability of being happy times the probability of being unhappy times the probability of being unhappy. That's 0.7 times 0.7 times 0.3 times 0.3, which equals 0.04. That means that random assignment results in less than 5% chance of having systematically different groups in terms of happiness after only 4 people. In truth, the calculations to figure out how to even groups out are a bit more complicated than that, but this will help you understand the concept. If the researcher manipulated the variable and you had random assignment, you will be able to determine causation. If not, we need to know which of the other 3 types of variables it is: self-report, behavioral, or physiological. So let's start with the easiest to distinguish, physiological. Physiological variables are any variables that are measured directly from a subject's body. This could include pupil dilation, sweat response, temperature, and so on. This also includes neurological measurements such as fMRIs, ERPs, etc. Distinguishing between the other 2 types can be a bit trickier though. One trick that I find useful is to ask yourself if there is an objectively verifiable value. Do you have data that, if you showed it to 3 other people, they would agree on the level of the variable? That's how you can tell if the variable is observational or not. So, asking someone to tell you their IQ does not give you objectively verifiable data. You just have to take someone's word on it. But asking them to spell words for you gives you some objectively verifiable data on their spelling abilities and possibly even their intelligence. If the data is not objectively verifiable, like someone's mood or how much they liked something, then it is a self-report variable. The key difference between these two is that an observational variable results in data that allows the level of the variable to be objectively verified.